Welcome back to Gooner Fanzine TV after Arsenal's hard-fought 1-0 victory over West Ham at the Emirates on Saturday. I'm with some Arsenal fans in the shadows of the Emirates. We're just going to talk about the game quickly and get a reaction and you let us know what you think as well. So we're with Michael, we're with Dan the Man, Jake and Serge. So Michael, first of all, what was your take on today?
Well, I was pleased it was a win.
Yeah.
I mean, a win's a win. I can remember 1-0 to the Arsenal was what it's all about. I thought the first half there was a lot of passing. I was counting the passing, 22, 23 passes, and we're still in their own half. So a bit disappointing, but I also thought some of that was setting down Pablo. I thought he was, because he's new and so it was giving him a chance to settle in. Second half, I was expecting more. I mean, West Ham weren't going to roll over in the way perhaps we wanted them to. So I thought we could do more, but it's coming together, but it's just taking a long time.
Yeah.
So pleased with the result. Who can not be with the 1-0?
Absolutely fantastic.
You're up for that?
Yeah, too right. Yeah, Jake, what did you take? What was your take on
It
it?
was an interesting game. You could tell West Ham were just playing for the point because they're in the relegation battle, of course. It was interesting when the VAR call happened because I was sitting right behind the dugout, so you could tell the bench knew it was gone in minutes before the VAR finally decided to make up its mind. Interesting substitutions by Arteta, especially with Reece Nelson coming on.
Yeah, but what was your take on that? What was that
It seems that he's trusting the youth players more. It seems it seems like he's given Saka more game time, and he's also giving now Nelson game time and Nketiah. So he seems like he's trusting the youth more.
Yeah, absolutely. What was your take on today then, Serge?
I mean, like you said, 1-0, a win is a win, so that's a very big positive. And West Ham are a team that have taken apart bigger teams as well. They've made life difficult. And Moyes set up today a 4-4-2 with a real sort of smother in the midfield, which is why Aubameyang, Lacazette and Nketiah sort of struggled to get a lot of service. But we showed a lot of sort of good sort of forward momentum to try and get the ball through there. Thought the fans were actually quite good and positive to the team. There was a lot of positivity there, except to Martin Atkinson. I think he got a lot of stick for his calls today.
Yeah,
rightfully so.
Well,
he made a lot of. I mean, the one thing he did do that I quite liked. There was none of this sort of Mike Dean stopping. Make sure you take the ball properly. It was like just kick on, just keep going. But I think the youth team. He said in the programme today, he's relying on the youth. It's a risky move to take. But I think the risk is paying off. Yeah, absolutely. Certainly on the back of 6 youngsters under 20 playing the pulse off the other day as well. Yeah. You obviously touched on the referee there. We've got to talk about VAR. What was your take, Dan?
Well, done as a favour, to be fair. I mean, I don't know why it took so long to look at it. I was sat in front of Charlie Watts, brilliant Charlie Watts, who obviously writes a column for Gooner Fanzine, and we were both looking at it saying, first time we watched it, said, that's a goal. There's no issue there. God knows why they did all the little lines and all that nonsense. It just took too long for me, but at least they got the decision right. Some people were saying that it kind of showed why VAR didn't work, because obviously the flag went up to rule the goal out, and then VAR had a look at it and the West Ham players might have stopped, but I don't agree with that. I don't think they were going to get back there and defend it anyway. But yeah, I'm just glad it's gone in our favour, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, where we sat in the press box, you do get an essence of what's going on in Stockley Park, and there is lots of lines and sort of things like that, and it looks a bit like sort of InDesign if you're designing a newspaper with all those sort of straight lines. But basically, yeah, it was clear that it was a goal straight away. I know they have to check, but it shouldn't have taken 2 or 3 minutes.
4 minutes.
Was it 4 minutes? Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
What was your take, Michael, on the delay?
Well, I did wonder if the sort of like lines were down to Stockley Park or something like that, really. And it's disappointing, but it's different from when you're at home and you're watching something and think, especially if you're just watching highlights, you think, oh well, 4 minutes, it's not that. But it's just forever, and it completely kills any atmosphere, any momentum, because you sort of think, well, actually, we could kick on from here, and it just sort of like, okay, we can reorganise ourselves as West Ham, and that's what they did, and sort of make it difficult again. I thought if we could have got the ball moving quickly, the game could have gone on, and who knows, we might have had another goal right at that point there. Yeah. And that's when they're at their most vulnerable, really. Absolutely. So disappointing, 4 minutes,
Yeah. What was the sort of feeling around you as well between all the fans? Was it frustration?
People just couldn't understand it. First of all, as I say, I was sort of like, well, got no signal out or something. What's the matter? Because the screens were just saying, taking their time. Nobody quite knows. But I think you've heard it on TV. People say the longer it goes on, the more chance you've got of there actually being a goal. I mean, what bit of him was offside or something like this?
Absolutely.
I think we need to see it on the screens. I think the fans need to see what's happening on the screen because. Yeah, because as you say, as journalists, we get to see it. People at home get to see it. Yeah. So why do fans in the stadium not get to see it?
Absolutely.
I don't understand.
Yeah, and there's obviously a Six Nations game going on at Twickenham at the moment. I've done Six Nations in the press box at Twickenham, and you get to hear everything the ref is saying. You're in the loop completely. But the fans are as well. That's the thing. And I don't know whether they just don't trust football fans, but it's really frustrating. What were you going to say, Jack?
Because it seems like we knew because the coaches were doing thumbs up gestures towards the pitch, so we could tell the goal had been the bench was confident the goal was going to be given.
And obviously, you as a fan, was it a long 4 minutes? It must have been.
It was long 4, but because we knew what was going. Because lucky I was behind the bench, because that's how we knew that we probably scored the goal. But it's just. It takes the atmosphere away from the game. You're just sitting there looking at a screen.
Yeah,
if I was to do that, I could pay Sky and watch it from home.
Yeah, absolutely. Warm for your home. Yeah, absolutely. Just in terms of the goal scorer, then, what was your take on Lacazette? And we'll come to everyone as well on that.
Well, personally, I'd rather see Martinelli coming on. I don't mean to be rude to him and all that sort of stuff, but I've got a sort of preference for sort of Brazilians coming on. And great that he's got a goal, but it's building his confidence for sort of Lacazette, which is good because I think they got to a really low confidence base early in the season, and that's still taking time to come up. But you're saying a bit earlier about it's great to see all the youth players, and it really is. It's sort of they're coming through, etc. Well, why not him? Are we frightened we're going to lose him or something? I mean, let's get the best out of the boy because he's there and he sets things on fire. And there were times, I must admit, Lacazette, great that he got the goal, but I didn't think he had that quite understanding with ABBA that everybody talks about. Oh yeah, they're best mates. Really? How come he put a crap ball, a bad ball forward at one point? And I just sort of think, it's not quite the telepathic sort of.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. They need to be sort of recalibrated a little bit, didn't they? There wasn't position as position it should have been basically. To
be honest, I think Pierre's raced out on the wings because he's a proven goal scorer. He was joint top goal scorer last season, but he's playing out on the wings. He can't get many goals from that position.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair point. There's probably a discussion for an entire podcast. But are you saying you'd have Aubameyang through the middle and drop Eddie and not have Lacazette at all?
I'll personally have because I'd have Aubameyang up front and Martinelli in his position because that would have been working well. Because Martinelli's pace interesting, and Pierre's pace that would have been more dangerous to West Ham today than Eddie Nketiah. He didn't seem to have the pace to chase the ball when they were.
In fairness, I mean we've just come from Mikel Arteta's press conference, and he did explain the reason he picked Eddie was because he thought he would fare better against West Ham central defenders today. Whether that's true or not, I don't know in terms of the actual performance, but that was his reason behind it.
He didn't seem to have the pace to catch up. He didn't seem to have the pace today. That was the problem.
Who?
Nketiah, because he just seemed like.
He is more of a fox in the box than a basic player, but he has got pace as well.
I thought he was a bit lightweight. Okay, the centre half, right? And you're coming up against someone that big, and then he's not. He's young still learning all the tricks. But I didn't think he was strong enough to be able to sort of take him and either him out wide. But, I didn't think they quite had that right, really. And are you going to mention the O word, or does that sort of?
We'll come to that in a minute.
It's a long time.
Absolutely, we've talked about him a lot this season. I'm not sure we want to go there at the moment. But what was your take on Lacazette and Serge?
Well, obviously, very pleased for him to get the goal, to get the sort of the enthusiasm and momentum he needed. But he still looks off the pace to me. He still looks a little bit slow. And in that position, that game, we needed speed, which with Martinelli, as you've rightly said, would have provided having the speed to come on and really change the face of it. Obviously, I think he was quite strong, so he was adding a bit of hold-up play. But without Aubameyang being on the other side, so far away, his hold-up play doesn't really work. So there were a few occasions where you got the ball, put it in the box, and there was just no one nearby. Yeah. So it felt somewhat sort of like a pointless manoeuvre.
Yeah.
So I think, it was obviously you've got to play the player, you've got to try and get his confidence up to try and get him scoring, because he was our player of the season 2 seasons ago, wasn't he? Yeah. So you can't sort of just completely dismiss him. But I think you need to look at the squad we've got. Use the players that are firing at all cylinders at the moment.
Absolutely. Just to turn it around a little bit, Burton Leno, discuss. Good performance again?
I thought it was. I quite like him as a goalkeeper, I mean, OK, there's a couple of times when he's scrambling for it and, someone behind me said, he never catches a cross. And I thought, doesn't he? I thought he does. He's under a lot of pressure. There were some people giving him quite good elbows and things like this. And I didn't think he was getting a lot of protection from the referee a lot of the time, really, but we're not, can't moan about the referee, although I think I did tweet out it was the 12th man for them.
Well, absolutely.
But, I thought he was all right, I think he's a competent keeper. I don't think he's the best we've had, but he's getting better at it by the game, really. Just sometimes I wish he'd ping it a bit quicker upfield, Sometimes faffing around in the box, going to and fro and all that, that's great, but can we just start something going faster, really?
Fair point. Just in terms of the effort in the room, obviously, Ozil, what was your take on his performance today?
I suppose I was expecting a lot more from him. You hear people saying, he's getting better, he's doing something. Well, come on then, And you think first half, OK, so we're sort of knocking it around, 23 passes and this sort of stuff. But I didn't see anything that sort of makes me think, great, he's really sort of, he knows he's liked all of a sudden and he wants to sort of get back into it. And I just, I know he does a lot of work off the ball and things like this, but I was just expecting something special and it didn't quite come off for him, really. So sometimes whether it's around the people around him and not understanding what he's going to do, because that affects. You've got someone who's really creative and can do stuff, but if they haven't got the people running into the right channels and places, it doesn't work for them either.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he excels when he's got pockets of space. Basically, it's finding those pockets of space for him to excel in. Basically, is the issue. But I mean, what was your take on today, Dan?
Well, firstly, I agree with everything just said there. But I think the header to set up the goal was really good, because a lot of players in that position probably would have panicked and tried to bring it down or got the header all wrong. But he put it on a plate for Lacazette.
Yeah.
He made it impossible for him to miss, basically. He got it exactly in the right area. It wasn't bouncing in front of him. It was just nicely to his feet. And that shows the kind of quality he does bring. But we need to see it more often.
Yeah.
We can praise the fact that he's showing more running and willing and energy. That's good. But there needs to be more in product, basically. He's the chief creator, and he has to do that, and he's not doing it enough. It was anonymous up until the point when he set up Lacazette's goal, and it just needs to see more, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jake,
I sort of agree with Dan, because he goes anonymous some games. He has one good moment at one game, then he's the world's best player another game. He seems to have three different sorts of puzzle half the time, and it seems
that is the puzzle, isn't it? Really?
We need the Ozil that plays at his best all the time.
Yeah.
The Ozil that was at Real Madrid assisting all the time.
Yeah, but that was 6-7 years ago now.
And with Cristiano Ronaldo, so it does make your job slightly easier.
That is true. I just realised that in my head when I was trying to bring that one up.
Excellent. Just we touched on Martinelli there. Obviously, in case you don't know, Michael's he's a bit of a Brazilian expert, basically. You said you were aware of Martinelli before Arsenal signed for him, and you said there's a lot more youngsters like that.
Yeah, there are so many good youngsters out in Brazil, and I watched football when I was out in Brazil back in September, and went to see Brazil play England here and had the 0-0 last year. And the thing about Brazilian players is they seem to know exactly where people are supposed to be, and they put that ball there. They don't even look sometimes; they just put it there because they're trained so well. And you look at the team sometimes, and we were very static and that sort of stuff. But in Brazil, they're all doing it. It is the national game. It is. I mean, it's in their blood and everything like that.
Yeah.
And there are more Martinellis. And having been out there and watched games and things like that, I'm thinking, why aren't our scouts getting to some of the other matches and all that sort of stuff? Because they get paid peanuts out there, and you can pick them up dirt cheap. And I'm sure the club have got other people in mind and things like this. But there's so much talent in Brazil. It's unbelievable. A country of 290 million people, the size of Europe. They're producing players all the time. And they do tend to want to come over to sort of, as I said to you earlier, Portugal and Spain.
Yeah.
UK's not always the favourite. Yes, they want the Premier League and that sort of stuff because of things like language difficulties. The fact it's freezing cold.
Yeah.
In Brazil, it's sort of like a lot of the time it's a lot warmer. So, but I think there's some real talent to be had out there, and I wish the club would go and spend a bit more time getting them in from Brazil. I think we'd find some real talent because Martinelli.
Having Edu helps as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, and
I've got a lot of links there. Brazilian himself,
and Francis Cajal as well, who was in the '88 Youth Cup winning squad for Arsenal. Big coach in South America a big scout, I should say, for Arsenal in South America. But yeah, if you're saying there's hundreds of them, then they need to get on a flight to Rio, basically, don't they? So
give us a name of someone we should be looking at.
Yeah.
I think there's too many, isn't there?
I can't give you any names at the moment. I'm writing them down at home. And it's
How
a
long's
case of
the
get
list?
that message out there. Sort of like about 8 or 9 players that I've seen on the football. And Lucy's got my wife Lucy's got an extensive family out in Brazil, and so he was getting people saying, "Oh, you should look at this player. You should look at this player." So there's loads of talent there, And I know you can get swamped with this sort of stuff sometimes, but I do think that getting Brazilians into the club is great. When in fact, when you look at the sort of the Chelseas, the Liverpools, Man Cities, etc., they've all had success because they've all stuck Brazilians in their team, and that's going to come back to us, I'm sure, because we've got some Brazilians here. Let's get them playing properly.
The only way to that is because the work permit rules are changing, aren't they?
Yeah.
After is it when the work permit's changes coming by the FA?
Yeah, well, it's post-Brexit, isn't it? The post-Brexit world, basically. Without going into too much detail about it now, because it is so tedious.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
but they are changing it, aren't they?
That's what I mean. So we best get them quick before the home.
Well, yeah, something to look at in the future, basically. But just in terms of today, I did a tweet just after half-time when the score was 0-0, and I said, "Is 5th place possible?" And then I tweeted it again after Arsenal's goal, and the replies were completely different. But you on the spot here: is 5th place or Champions League football attainable for Arsenal this season, Michael?
As I said in my reply, my tweet, and paraphrase Brian Clough and all that sort of stuff, my answer is yes. but my head says not really.
Excellent.
I think we're going to have to go some, and you're really depending on other people's results.
Yeah.
It's not, I think Arsene Wenger said a few weeks ago something like, we just need to win so many games or something like that. We need to win every game. But actually, I think you also need a few people to trip up.
Yeah.
And clubs that you're perhaps not expecting, Sheffield United and things like this, by now you'd expect them to be running out of steam, and they're not.
Yeah. Well, I think that Wolves game is crucial in April, basically, and obviously the cup tie too. But what do you think, Dan?
I think it's really dependent on a few factors. Firstly, we've got to hope that Man City's appeal against their Champions League ban.
They'll get at least 1 year. That's not going to be rescinded.
So obviously that opens up 5th place, which is looking like the more achievable thing. Another thing, we've still got Tottenham to play, Leicester to play, Wolves to play, so you see it to come Wednesday.
Yeah. There's
games there that you have to win if they want to do it. If they lose those games, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So you've got to keep winning. I'll take us out this programme notes. We're going game by game, and we know we have to win.
Yeah.
And they did it today. They pulled it out of the bag. They just need to keep doing that. They need to keep battling and keep getting the wins.
So to answer the question, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Excellent.
Yes.
Right. Jake?
Yes, because we only have to focus on the Premier League and the FA Cup, while others have Europe to focus on.
Yeah, good answer, yeah. Jake?
We'll for the grit of our teeth, we'll battle through and we'll get it.
Excellent. Well, it won't be pretty, absolutely. You've heard what we've got to say, what we've said after Arsenal's victory over West Ham. We really want to hear what you say as well. Is 5th place attainable? Is the Champions League attainable? Let us know. Like, comment, share. Many thanks for watching Gooner Fanzine TV. We'll see you soon. All the best. Cheers.